Hey, welcome back to the table. It's been, oh gosh, at least 3 days since I last recorded, so I think we're getting ready to start. I believe it's part 10, and let's go ahead and get going here. I think we have 2 more campaigns left before it's over, and just to recap from my own memory, you can see our little score marker there on 27, and the Gandhi Congress is doing quite well, sitting on 15. They only need to get to 21. We knocked the Muslim and the Muslims way down, and then of course the revolutionaries are down. But the Muslims have a lot of activists in places that are positioning them that at the end of the next campaign they're going to do quite well. Now we also got screwed because that campaign card came right when we were going to get to take a turn, but now you can see we're dead last on this one. So that's not really going to help us much. So it says remove up to 2 to 4 guerrillas. 2 to available, 2 to out of play. That's sort of cool. In 2 spaces with no Raj control, add 2. The Raj control thing is huge. My recommendation is if you play as the Raj, make sure you have control over key areas. But anyways, this is the current card, and we're probably not going to get to act on this one. And then the next one, we're at least up near the front, and it's a critical card for them, which looks like they might get to go before us. Shift unity -2, or add 1 Muslim state to any Muslim province with no Raj control. And see the little white background? That means they want to do this. So they would get to add a Muslim state automatically. And then Muslim community seeks unity, shift unity +2, move 3 pieces from out of play to, like that seems like that's what they want to do, but that little white background, they actually want to do the top one here. It creates a Muslim state, so that's actually really good for them. All right, let's do this one. And we're gonna flip this over. I'm trying to do it with my hand underneath the camera here. Okay, so they are the first eligible. And you can see current event is critical and effective. Revolutionaries are going first. The answer is no. Next eligible could choose critical, and the answer is no. Would be first eligible. On upcoming, no. They're going to do Ops and SA. So let's put them on Ops and SA. And then let's just figure out what Gandhi would do. Active faction will be first eligible, no. First eligible chose Ops and SA, and the event is effective. Now, what they want to do is they want to remove 2 to 4 guerrillas from play, and removing guerrillas, they are okay if they remove support, unrest, Muslim state, or adversary pieces. That actually does work for them, so yes, it would be effective, and so they're going to do the event. So we're going to go ahead and put them in. The event is better than the limited operation anyways, so that's actually probably a good move for them. But let's do the full thing for them. And here we go. Any guerrillas in 2 pop spaces with no unrest? The answer is yes. Underground guerrillas in 2 or more 2 pop spaces with no unrest. Let's see. We have unrest here. This one has no unrest. Punjab, way up there, has no unrest, and there's 1 guerrilla there. So the answer is yes. So they're going to do unrest. Select spaces using place unrest. So let's check out their unrest action first. Here you can see spaces with an underground guerrilla. First, in each space, activate 1 underground guerrilla. If city, province, or state, shift 1 level towards neutral and add 1 unrest marker. If it's a railway, place a strike marker, then restraint -1. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is we have to look at this. So we're going to place unrest, and they want to do it where there's no unrest, 2 pop and guerrillas, most guerrillas. Then if we're the Raj player, which we are, most support. Okay, well, there's only 2 places it can go, but the first place it will go is here. That's what they want to do. So They're going to place an unrest marker there. Let me just reach over here and grab one. Okay, so in doing so, this moves towards neutral, which it already is. And before I forget, they're going to score 2 points. Okay, and then we have to see if they're going to go again. Now the restraint is at a 2. So they only get to do this twice. There was only 2 places for them to go anyways. I have to roll a 3 or better for them to do another one. I rolled a 1, and oh crap, I'm trying to remember. If I would have rolled a 3 or a better, they would not have gone again. But I rolled a 1, so they will get to go again. That's what it is. Boy, just even a couple days away, you start to forget the rules to this game. All right, and so then they're going to put one in Punjab here, an unrest marker. And so that gives them 2 more points. They're up to 10. Okay, so that's the first half of their action. Then they're going to do either assassinate, 1 adversary among unrest spaces. An adversary for them is a protest marker. Let's look up what assassinate does. Remove any active piece, not Gandhi. Unity -1 if it's a non-violent faction. Well, okay, so there is an active, that's not active. Where is there an active piece? It would be our troops. So for their priorities for remove or replace, it's where there's the most guerrillas. So it would be, well, there's 3 here and there's 3 there. So that's a tie. Fewest cubes, there's 3 here. So it would be this one. Oh, and this, by the way, activated a guerrilla here, and then same with up here in Punjab. Okay. So they're gonna kill the adversary. So it would be a troop. They're killing a troop. So we have 4 troops here. We gotta get these out. Because that definitely hurts us to not have troops there. And yeah, they assassinate it, we're done. Then I believe the restraint goes to -1. So the restraint is now down to 1 for Britain. We're close to a crisis, by the way. All right, so now they're doing the event. Just moving some cards out of the way here. So just a refresher, the event is remove up to 4 guerrillas from any spaces, 2 to available, 2 to out of play. So when we do remove, it's where there's a protest marker, top priority, 2 pop, Raj control, fewest cubes, and then 1 random space. So it has to be where there's a protest marker. Well, there's a protest marker here, and that's the only place, isn't it? So that would remove 3. And it says 2 to available, 2 to out of play. So we're going to assume that it's 1 to available, 2 to out of play. Because you get to choose. And why would you make them available? All right, so that removed them completely from the United Provinces. That sort of helped us too. But it helps him as well. So there you go. They both go there. So we get our next card, which the Muslims are probably going to activate. And then Lala Lajput Rai, if I pronounce that even remotely correct. Local police clear grounds with Lathi charge. Remove 1 guerrilla, 1 activist, 1 protest marker, or 1 unrest marker from each of up to 2 spaces. In spaces with underground guerrillas, remove 3 pieces total or replace 2 with guerrillas or activists. All right, so that's the next one. It's considered critical for us, but I don't think we need it per se. they're going to go first, of course, and I'm pretty darn sure they're going to do the event. So that goes there for the event. Shift unity -2, or add 1 Muslim state. And if you look on here, Muslim state is top priority, whereas shifting, I don't even know if unity is in here, but I mean, it's their top priority. So when you're choosing between the two, they definitely are going to choose the Muslim state. To any province with no Raj control. Okay, so if I look at the place Muslim state, obviously not at active opposition, 2 pop, fewest cubes, random space. They can't go where Raj control is, so all the 2 pop spaces are out. But there's plenty of 1 pop spaces, and there's no troops in any of them. So I think we're just going to do a random space. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. Black is left. And you can see the 5, and this was a 4. So let's look again real quick. The 4, 5, 6, and then the 5s, and then the 6s. Then it goes to the 1, Karachi, 1, 2, Sindh is going to become a Muslim state. Pakistan is forming. So that becomes a Muslim state. That means they just scored 2 points. Because they get double points for Muslim state population. And so that's their event. Oh, and then unity goes to -2. So that means we now have a crisis. Each time a crisis is triggered, Raj may move a die roll of cubes from out of play to any spaces. No troops to state. So we got a crisis, and whoops, I rolled a 6 too. That stunk. Well, there we go. I rolled a 6 again. So I get to take 6 cubes from out of play and put them in any space. Obviously, troops can't go to states. So I'm taking 4 troops because we're realizing how important those are, and 2 of these. And crisis is actually not bad from this perspective. So what I'm going to do is this Madras presidency is going to get 2 and 1. So I have 3 there. Obviously, I need to take control of Sindh, but it's a Muslim state, so I can't move any troops there. But I will put this guy there. And then clearly, I need to replace the one that they killed here, so I can get that back in play. And then I have 1 more, and I really just need to just make sure I'm shoring everything up and not losing things. So, for example, I can go here where they have a base, you know, to try to get rid of some of their bases, but the base is not that important. This one, I'm concerned about being outnumbered, but that would be true for down here as well. Where do I want to go? I'm going to put another one here, just to try to shore that up. Okay, so that was helpful. Actually, to us, the crisis part of it made it helpful. Now, how do we get out of the crisis? Obviously, things have to go back up, but we're in crisis mode, and that means when we do these actions, the crisis things will trigger. So here, for example, they do extra things when a crisis happens. That's what their choice will be. And the various actions have different consequences if a crisis occurs. Now, the good news about them doing this, they did form a Muslim state, which is a little annoying, but we get to do a full op and special activity, which normally you don't get to do when you go second, but when somebody takes the event like that, that's a good deal. All right, so the assault is what our guy lets us do. Sweep costs 1 resource for each space we're supposed to sweep. Well, the restraint's only a 1, so it's only costing 1 anyways. So that part's not as exciting. But I was contemplating doing a deploy to get these red cubes out. And it says you deploy into any city. And then resources equal to restraint for each space where supplies deploy. I don't have any sepoys, I only have red. And then in each city, place up to 6 cubes, then if desired, move 2 from out of play to available. That's not a bad move. Or otherwise I'm assaulting, right? To remove or arrest adversary forces. I could sweep, but I don't really need to do that. Any space that has Raj forces, if there are sepoys, obviously I have to pay. But in each space, remove 1 active piece for every 2 cubes. Or if troops are present, for every cube. And then troops, of course, are these. The other thing is I get to do one of these as well. And govern, of course, is the one I tend to like to do the most. Although martial law I can put into place in 2 spaces during a crisis. So if there's a crisis going on, let's see, in each space remove 1 activist to available for every cube and remove any protest. If the space is a city, province, or state, add 1 unrest marker, shift the space 1 towards neutral. So I think that's more helpful when, see, the purpose is to end protests and remove activists. That's not really the issue. I think we want to govern. So I'm going to deploy and govern. So I want to get these 4 out. So let's do that. And I'm going to make sure they go into spaces that don't have 1. So 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. And then I still got 1 more left. And I'm really just going to put it somewhere where he can, you know, deploy along a railroad or help out. And so I'm going to put it in Delhi. Okay. I know that didn't sound very exciting, but it is what it is. I do get to grab 2 of these and put them into play or into the box here. So that also secures up my cities. But now I'm going to govern. And remember, govern's a little complicated, but it says you get to do any of these. You can remove an active piece. If there's no activists, you can remove a protest marker or a strike marker. And if there's no active adversaries, you can buy imperialism for 2 levels. Now, the problem is there's an active adversary here. That's what this active guerrilla is. So like if I wanted to do something there. And then also it says for every 3 resources spent, you have to remove an unrest marker, or once there's no unrest, shift a level towards active support. So anywhere you have these unrest markers, they have to be removed first before you can improve your support. Obviously East Bengal here looks like a nice target, except this is an active piece, so it would have to be removed first. Gandhi's active here, although we are full support there. This is still the right move, it's just a little harder. Here you have the protest marker and an active marker, but if you remove the protest marker, the active marker becomes inactive by default. But then that's all I can do for that space. There's in Punjab that guerrilla is active, and so he's ruining our. So I think, and then even here you have the bases; those are active. So there's no easy place to just get points, but I do think I actually can do some damage here in Bihar. I'm going to spend 6 to move this 2 levels, which gets rid of that. Okay, so that cost me 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 per level. And then what I did was I just got rid of 4 points for Gandhi. So he just dropped 4. All right, and then it would be nice if I can get points. Now I can go after the cities and get points there. It won't be a lot of points, but I could. Or I can just start removing some of these active pieces, which will help me get points. So which of the 2 should I do? You only get to do 1 more space. And only the imperialism costs 3 resources, the shifting support. If I remove an active piece, I'm not... I don't have to spend anything to do that. And I cannot raise support until I get rid of these active pieces. That's the issue. Well, so here it would only get rid of one piece, that's it. But that is all it is, it's just one piece. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of, I'll get rid of this protest marker. That puts that there, and this guy becomes inactive. So United Provinces is now available to shift, if that's what I wanted to do. And we still get, that was our active, yeah, I'm sorry, that was our whole turn. So we're gonna move here. This moves to available. This card comes out. And the next card is reform, but on British terms. Shift up to 3 princely states, each 1 level towards active support. That's actually not bad for us. I mean, that's potential to get points or at least take away points. Then here, shift up to 2 states, each 1 level towards opposition, which you can see there, they like that. And they're going to get to do that before we ever get to. So we're on this one, which is the one that we really wanted, at least according to this, but they go first, and check it real quick here. So is current event critical and effective? No. Next eligible could choose critical? No. Will they be first eligible in an upcoming critical event? They will be first eligible, but it's not critical. So they're going to do Ops and SA. So again, they get to do a full action. And then let's go ahead and figure out what Congress would do. Active faction will be first eligible on upcoming critical event and cannot execute any current critical event. That is true, and so they're actually going to pass. They have a critical event and they will be first eligible. So they're actually passing this round. And then Black is not doing the event, so nobody's doing the event. We're going to do an Ops special activity, and that's the only one that's going to go this round. So we're going to get screwed out of an action next turn. Okay, guerrillas exceed unity in any spaces without a base. That is true. Any underground guerrillas without unrest. That is not true. So it says flip card. So we're going to do a rally, and they're going to place bases where guerrillas exceed unity. The restraint is only 1, so they're only going to do this in 1 place. So they want to place a base because they're the ace of base. Most guerrillas, fewest cubes. Well, this is most guerrillas. And then here's the second most guerrillas, so they're going to go ahead and put a base here. And do they get... Yes, they do. They're going to get the population for the bases, so they get 2 more points. I mean, when you get to do full actions and special abilities, that's pretty nice. And so then, yes, they have a crisis, so they're going to infiltrate to place another base. So let's look at the infiltrate for them. Oh, and it says replace guerrillas equal to unity with a base. This guerrilla actually gets removed in order for that base to go there, and it was equal to the unity, and then 1 goes from out of play. So they do have a lot of guerrillas available. Now they're going to do infiltrate. See, this is where it pays to always check the card, because there was stuff on the card. Okay, infiltrate. So any space with an underground guerrilla, replace, if during a crisis, place a revolutionary base in a state or province with no Raj control. This one, by the way, now has Raj control. So we just gained control here because we have 3 active pieces and they only have 2. So that gave us 2 points, by the way. So we just went up 2. right, now with that being said, they want to place a base where there's no Raj control, and the guerrillas are only located in places that have Raj control. So they can't do this, even though that's their top priority. So they're going to have to replace an adversary, which is going to be, they're going to kill a troop, I'm assuming. So let's figure that out. Infiltrate is a sepoy, activist, or protest marker with an underground guerrilla. So they're obviously going to do that where there's the most guerrillas, and that would be this sepoy right here. So that's going to go out of play. An underground guerrilla comes in. We still have control because we're tied with the bases, but that actually helped them a bit. And of course we have 3 of these to deploy now, but they took their turn. That is the end of the round. So they're moving to ineligible. We're all moving up to eligible, but we're not going to get to take a turn. Because you can see here, they're both before us. We might get to take a turn if this is a critical card for the Muslims, and it's not. And in fact, we're near the end on this one too. So remove all activists and guerrillas on railways. Add 1 activist or underground guerrilla to 4 railways. So it's an interesting one. But first up is Orange, and they are doing the event. Shift 2 states, each 1 level towards active opposition. So for them, shifting to opposition, they want to shift places that are not at active opposition first, and then 2-pop, non-Muslim, unrest. Those are the order. So not at active opposition would be, for example, the Central India Agency. So that would be the first one, for sure. In fact, that's the only one that's not even at opposition, so they just got a point for that. And then they want to do, Mysore is the other one. So they're going to do that one as their other one. Those are the only 2 that were neutral. I don't think any of them are active support. But they basically just shifted 2 of them, and so they go and get 2 points. Okay, so next up are the Muslims. The event was done. Active faction will be first eligible in an upcoming card. No. Is the event? No. No. So they're going to do ops and SA. All right, so any available protest markers? Yes. Any activists in spaces without protest? Yes. Select spaces using place protests. If Raj is a player from space with 3 or more Muslim League pieces, get 1 activist onto a railway. Okay. Thankfully for us, none of them are on. There's no 3 or more out there. But place protest. They want to do not at active opposition, Muslim space, 2-pop, fewest cubes. So not at active opposition, that's a Muslim space. Well, all the neutral ones count. And then, of course, West Bengal is at 2. 2-pop, Muslim, fewest cubes is next. And I'm just looking real quick. Most support if you're the Raj, and then random. Okay, so fewest cubes was before most support. So, but 2-pop is before that. So let's look at all the 2-pop spaces that are not active opposition. This one, for example, has 5 cubes. Punjab only has 3. So how many protests? Oh, that's right. They're doing unity. Plus anywhere there's a base, I think. Bases plus unity. So let's check this action real quick. In each space, we'll see spaces with a Muslim League base plus spaces with Muslim League activists up to unity. Yeah. All right, so everywhere that there's a base, let's start with that one. There's 2 here, so they're going to do both. So protest, protest. 1 there and 1 there, so that's going to flip these 2 over to active. This one flips to active. Okay. And then Punjab. And they're only going to do 1 because of unity. So protest marker goes here, and these 2 flip to active, and we now have 3 and 3. So it's getting pretty meaty over there. Then for their special activity, they're going to do negotiate to place a Muslim state. So let's look at negotiate real quick. So it has to be a space with Muslim League activists and no Raj control. Not selected for operations. So if it was selected for the operations, it can't be used. So they do want to place a state. It has to have a Muslim League base and no Raj control. So we do have that. It's actually this one over here, but that one was used in the operation. Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading infiltrate. Hold on a second. Negotiate. If Muslim opposition province where Muslim League pieces exceed Congress pieces, set the space to passive support and place a Muslim marker. So it does say it has to be a space that was not selected for operations. So that would mean Baluchistan. That's the only space. So they get another Muslim state, and they get a control marker, or active, I'm sorry, a passive oppose. So this gives them 2 points, right, because it's double, and that's another one for 3. So 1, 2, 3 for them, and then 1 for Gandhi, because opposition grew. So that's done. And yeah, you can see for the crisis, they wanted to infiltrate, but infiltrate actually wouldn't have worked for them. So the negotiate was actually better. Actually, the infiltrate would have done the exact same thing because it has to go somewhere where there's no Raj control. So there's more to the negotiate. So they have to remove a protest marker from the space, shift restraint +1. So restraint actually goes up. So we're no longer in crisis. And yeah, it had to be a place with no Raj control. So that resolves that. And then I think, just to make sure, I think we have control as long as we're tied. Sometimes if there's a tie, like in Pendragon, nobody has control. So I'm going to just check that real quick. Nope, you have to exceed all other pieces. So we lost control here, and we actually don't have control in Punjab. So that changes things. First of all, we lose 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that means this goes here and here. So that's actually 4 points instead of 2, so they get 2 more. And then this is 2 points instead of 1, so they get another one, and they get another one. Now, the protest marker does get taken away, which is funny, because as soon as that happens, flip, and but we don't gain control because it's now a Muslim state, and then all troops get kicked out. to a city when a Muslim state comes in. So Punjab, they just pulled off a cute coup on us there. So we're not winning this game, for Pete's sakes. So those go there. It's then going to be our turn. We have these two. The next one. In one protest space, remove all pieces belonging to one faction. Gandhi and activists go to jail. Cubes, guerrillas, and bases to available. It's an interesting one. That's actually a pretty useful one for us because we can get rid of all those bases. Here, add an unrest marker to one space with both activists and troops. Remove 2 cubes there and set the space to neutral. So that obviously hurts us. And of course, it's critical for them. Interesting. So let's figure this out. Current event is critical and effective. No. Next eligible would choose a critical event. No. Will be first eligible on the upcoming critical event. As of right now, no, they would not. So they're going to do an option SA, like so. And as for us, what would we do? We actually would get to go first and use the event, but and so I'm going to go ahead and pass, and then we gain +3 resources for doing so. 1, 2, 3. And I know we want to do actions because then we want to get support. Actually, that is quite important. I don't want to discount that. But we would have to either take the event or do a limited operation if we went this turn because of what they're doing. And so I'd rather take the event or do a special full action next turn. But the event's actually quite good for us. We get to remove all pieces belonging to one faction. Now maybe that's not that good, but it would be nice to get rid of all of these guerrillas and bases. Or get rid of... I still think passing is the right thing to do. It's just maybe we don't want to do the event. I don't know. We can get rid of maybe all the activists and bases in East Bengal as well. So there's some options, but let's do their turn first. And once again, they're getting to do a full turn. 3 or more guerrillas in any space, yes. Die rolls less than available guerrillas. They got way more. So they want to place bases where guerrillas exceed unity. They do, well, unity is a 1, so it's real easy to do. And yeah, right now there's 1 guerrilla here, and that guerrilla does go away in order for them to put a base there. So that gives them 2 more points. They got a lot of bases out. In fact, they're 1 point away from winning the game. Now, we have to roll because our restraint's 2. And we rolled a 1, so they do get to continue. And you can see there it goes to 2. So they get to place another base. And does it have to be an inactive guerrilla? Let me check that. What is this, rally? Yeah. So this is their final base. And they're going to put it in Punjab. This does get replaced, even though he was active. He'd still get to do it. So now they're up to 16. And they get to take 1 from out of play, put it in to the box. Then for their special activity, they're going to infiltrate to replace an adversary. And infiltrate replaces a sepoy, activist, or protest marker. So they're going to do that where they have the most pieces. So they're going to replace this with that. So that was pretty straightforward there. And yeah, their turn's over, and they're just clobbering us right now. So we passed. This goes over, and then we get the event, which I think we're going to have to do now. And then here, activate all gorillas in Punjab, then remove 1 gorilla for every cube there, or add up to 4, and then add an unrest marker there. Okay, so we do have to do the event, and the reason is we can pick. Oh, it has to be a protest space. Dang it. No. I was thinking, let's remove all these. That would take 4 points away from them. But it has to be a protest space. They don't have anything in a protest space. I mean, the protest markers are over here on the right side. So this event's useless to us unless we want to get rid of Muslim activists, and we don't. So we're going to do operation plus special activity then, and we're going to have to do, we're definitely doing govern along with assault. So resources equal to restraint for every space where Sepoys assault. In each space, remove 1 active piece for every 2 cubes, or if troops are present, for every cube. And it's any spaces with Raj forces. So here I can remove 2 active pieces because I have a troop present. Nope, I'm sorry. It's 1 for every cube. So I'd be able to get rid of 1 here. And as long as I have resources. So this would cost me 2 to get rid of this base. So let's just put that there for now. And then over here, I can get rid of 1, 2, 3, because I have troops. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that cost me 2 more. Because the cost is for each space that are Sepoys. So this one was free. That one cost 2. So I'm at 2 right now. And here we got Sepoys, so I'm going to get rid of this for 2 more. Yep, so that's 4. Remember, they have to be active pieces. So here, we're going to go 5. I'm sorry, that's $6 I have to spend. We're going to get rid of all those. I have a troop. I can't do anything here. I can get rid of Gandhi. I don't know if I want to do that. And I'm just checking real quick. It's remove or arrest. Yeah, activists and Gandhi go to jail, it says. So is there anywhere else I have pieces that I can remove active pieces? And I can't remove these because they're not active. That's the thing going through my head. I could take Gandhi and put him in jail. If Gandhi gets arrested, restraint gets shifted to -1, and then they get to place a protest marker in up to 2 cities. That may not be a bad deal. One would go here, and one would go there, because it has to be a place that has activists. If I let the restraint go back down, it says I may move a die roll of cubes from out of play to any space on the board. So I'd actually be able to deploy more cubes onto the board if I let it go into crisis again. But let's take care of this. So I have 2, 4, $6 is what I owe. So I'm going to come up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have 11. So I am running out of money here, but this was 2, 4, 6, and 8. This goes back to available for them, but they just lost 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we just dropped them all the way down to 8. And then they don't lose anything for this, but we do get rid of the active bases. These 2 go to jail. Okay, so if I arrest Gandhi, I have to spend 2 more resources. And then I get to go into crisis, which would let me put a die roll number of cubes from out of play onto the board. That's the idea. And with the govern, just give me a second, I'm thinking. Now, how did we remove the Muslim state? What action did we do to do that? Remove adversaries, protests, strikes, unrest, or Muslim states. If we buy imperialism, imperialism's how we do it. Okay, so we can get rid of Punjab. Now they would put protest markers on Bombay Presidency and United Provinces. Now, the thing with govern is you have to remove the protest marker You know what? I don't have to remove protest markers to shift support. So the problem is if I arrest Gandhi, that costs me 2 more. So see, I'm going to be at 9 up there. So 9 means 3, 6, right? I can shift 1 twice, and then 3 more for 1 more shift. That's all my money. And I normally could buy a second shift, but I don't have enough money to do that. But I can always remove like a protest marker or a strike marker, or even an unrest marker. Actually, in fact, that's what I got to do in Punjab. I have to remove an unrest marker before I can remove the state. So that part hurts. So I couldn't get Punjab converted right now anyways. I couldn't shift this one without removing the unrest. I'm going to leave Gandhi where he is. I'm not going to worry about Gandhi. And instead what I'm going to do is let's try to win this game, folks. So let's put active support ×2 here in the United Provinces, right? That's going to shift by 2. I have to spend 6 to do that. And then I can either remove a protest marker or an active peace, or I can remove an unrest marker. So I'm thinking of removing this one. Now I could remove the one in Punjab, which actually, Punjab. If I do that, then I need another turn to remove the Muslim state. And that's the issue I have, is it's going to take me 2 turns. Whereas if I get rid of this, I could do this, like if that campaign card comes up, I can actually bump this up for free, right? And either way, I'm hurting the revolutionaries. So I'm going to get rid of this unrest marker first. And that cost me 3 more, by the way. So that's 9 I have to spend. And I'm sitting on an 11, so I'm all the way down to 2. Good thing I passed and got the 3 resources for passing. Now, by getting rid of the unrest marker, I made him lose 2 points. And by moving this up to active support ×2, that gave me 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that part I like. Here, it would have been nice to add a cube because I could have gained control of that again, but I didn't. So it is what it is. Okay, so now we're looking at the card here, and next up is green. So there's the card. The Muslims are next. So let's figure out what they're going to do. Active faction will be first eligible on upcoming no. First eligible chose Ops and SA. Yes, is the event effective? That's a question. So they would do add an unrest marker to 1 space with both activists and troops. remove 2 cubes from there, and then set space to neutral. So they would only do this, the Muslims would, if they can remove adversary pieces. They want to remove unrest, not add unrest. So it has to be a space with both activists and troops. Well, those do exist. They would add an unrest marker and remove 2 cubes from there and set the space to neutral. Which means, yeah, that's gonna hurt. They're doing the event. West Bengal here is their target. So they're gonna add an unrest marker here and then remove 2 cubes. And the troops are gonna be the first choice. So we're down to just 1 cube. So this goes to neutral, so we lose the active support times 2. And they're gonna remove the control. Oh, I'm sorry, we still have more cubes here, never mind. Control stays, but we do lose 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just don't get ahead, ever. And that's the situation. Move on to the next round. This is the card. And the next one, we will at least get to go first. Fears of Indian 5th column. Remove up to 5 guerrillas or activists from spaces with Raj control to available. No more than 2 per space. That's actually not bad. The activist part, for sure. Remove up to 5 sepoys from the map, no more than 2. That actually hurts. But okay. So first up is the revolutionaries, and I'm pretty sure. See, current event is critical and effective. No. Next would choose critical event. No. Would be first eligible and upcoming event. No. So they're doing Ops NSA. And then Congress. Is the event effective? They would do the white. This is activate all guerrilla in Punjab, then remove 1 guerrilla for every cube there. There's no guerrillas in Punjab, so this is not effective for them. Will they be first eligible and upcoming card? Nope. First eligible choose. So they're gonna do a limited op. Okay, so we got their stuff figured out. So let's draw the card. Any unrest or revolutionary bases without guerrillas? Yes. Die roll is definitely less than available guerrillas, so place bases where guerrillas exceed unity. We do have that, and it's right here. So they're gonna place a base here, and since the unity is only 1, they only lose 1 guerrilla. Now we're gonna roll a die, see if they can place again. You know what, they have no guerrillas anywhere else on the map, so it doesn't matter. And then they're gonna infiltrate to replace an adversary. And that's an interesting card. So they will put another one here, and then that gets rid of our cube. So we do probably need to get a deploy going here so we can get our cubes back out. But they're holding firm here, and they get 2 more points. 1, 2. Okay, and then they're doing an unlimited operation, which means that it's only going to be in 1 space. So are there 6 or more Congress activists in India? And the answer is no. So it says get rid of the card. We're going to do that. Any space is eligible for non-cooperation. Well, let's look up what non-cooperation is for them. Spaces with protest and Congress activists with no Raj control. Nope. So it says get another card. Any available protest markers? Yes. Any Congress and spaces without protest? Yes. Civil disobedience. select spaces using place protests. So civil disobedience. In each space, place an available protest marker. All right, and let's look at their priorities. I'm pretty sure they need to have an activist there. Not an active opposition, 2-pop, non-Muslim space. Oh, they don't even care if they have an activist there. So, non-active opposition, 2-pop, non-Muslim space. Well, those are pretty simple. Punjab's a Muslim space. West Bengal's a Muslim space. This one's already in active opposition, this space right here. So there's only 2 spaces on the board, and they get to do the restraint, which is a 2. So they're gonna get to do 2 spaces. So we're gonna grab 2 protest markers. One's gonna go here in the United Provinces. One's gonna go in Bombay Presidency, and I just realized Bihar is a 3rd one. So let me look at this real quick. Spaces with protests are Gandhi, plus spaces with Congress activists up to restraint. Okay, and then the space with Gandhi is gonna get 1, because he gets 1 anyways, and it doesn't matter if it's a Muslim space, that's just a tiebreaker. So by doing that, these 2 become active, and we do lose control of West Bengal. So we just lost 2 points. And then this protest here flips him over, and then these 2 flip over here. And that's it. So, oh, Bihar could have been a place. So we got to roll. See which one. I'm going to roll for which one does not get it. So 4-5 is, so the Bombay Presidency would be the one that would get it. Well, in fact, the way these random things work, Bihar would actually be really tough to be selected. So I'm going to do it the right way. 4-5 would eventually get us to 5-2. So Bombay Presidency for sure. And then here you can see 4-2 is going to get us to the same thing. Then eventually it's going to get to United Provinces. So yeah, Bihar is less, going to be less likely to be chosen through randomness. That's something maybe to bear in mind if you're playing this game. Then for the special activity, negotiate to release Gandhi or Satyagraha to move Gandhi, then add an activist. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So where are we moving Gandhi? Not an active opposition, 2-pop, Raj control, unrest. He doesn't care about the Muslim spaces. So not an active opposition, 2-pop. He wants Raj control. And then unrest. So East Bengal is an active opposition. West Bengal is not in Raj control. Bihar is clearly a candidate. United Provinces would be, Bombay Presidency would be. He wants to go where there's Raj control and unrest. Fewest cubes, and then most support if Raj is the player. But unrest is higher priority than fewest cubes. But he wants to go, The thing is there's no unrest markers where there's Raj control. So unrest doesn't help. Fewest cubes might help. Yep, it helps. So he's going to move to Bihar. And that puts a protest marker there. Okay, so this turn's done. It gets to us. We do get to go first. Here's the new card for the next round. Arrest all activists on railways, remove all strike markers, add up to 3 activists or 2. So a lot of railway cards coming up. And I'm in an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and hit end, and I'll see you in a few seconds. Stay awesome, stay healthy and safe.